Hello everybody, I'm OCDsaster, and this is OCDsaster Blue, my Sonic exclusive channel where everything we do here is Sonic related. So if that sounds like something your speed, consider watching some other videos after this one and subscribing. In our video yesterday, I discussed how I was right because during Game Fest they announced for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds we will be getting playable characters from different IPs, and these are big characters and big IPs such as Joker from Persona 5 and even Minecraft Steve. Yeah, Minecraft is in Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. This is actually insane. And so, I was talking about in that last video, and even a video before that, the Dimension crossover mechanic really lends a great, tool to allow these things to happen. This is basically going to be the Super Smash Bros. Of racing games, and I cannot be more excited. However, there is a caveat that I have been seeing already circulate online about how this game, Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, is going to be $90. Yes, a $90 Sonic Racing game. That is $10 more than Mario Kart World for Switch 2. But let's break it down real quick. I will always be pro-consumer. I think that the companies out here are very manipulative, especially in the video game entertainment industry, and they know a lot of people will spend their money and go into debt just to play video games, whether it be out of addiction or FOMO, and it can be very, very bad. I also understand economically we're in a very sensitive state right now, especially in the United States of America with tariffs going on and inflation, and it's just all getting very, very tough to even go and get groceries. And that's not even a meme, that's actually a thing where getting groceries and stuff is becoming difficult. So when push comes to shove, yeah, you're either choosing to get food for your family or spend like a third of your grocery money on one singular video game. And most people are obviously paying for their families and not, purchasing these games. Or if you're single and you have a little bit of income, then it's fine. But some people are really just scraping by right now is my point. And these prices are getting higher and higher for video games and entertainment and everything like that. And a lot of these companies are just firing people, laying people off to make their profit margins larger, to pay the stakeholders and the investors and board members even more money. So even though they keep saying like, oh, we didn't make, record sales last quarter, they're still, making more and more money each quarter because they're laying off really talented developers, and they're increasing pricing on games, and they're doing microtransactions, the whole 9 yards, right? Like, there's probably so many videos here on YouTube where you could go and do a deep dive on the manipulation tactics and the economic crisis, and then also how that compares to video games. That's not really what I'm getting in the weeds for. I just kind of wanted to let you know my stance, because it's going to sound like I'm going to sweep for this game when I'm really not. When the Switch 2 came out, or they announced the Switch 2, I was one of the people that were like, this is a lot of money, I'm not really sure if I'm going to do it, I'm not really going to pay for it, that's, I can't at the time. I did get a Switch 2. Full transparency, I did buy a Switch 2, I was really on the fence about it, and I fortunately have enough money to do it. But I understand a lot of people, that's just too much chunks of change for something that I honestly think the Switch 2 is what the Switch 1 should have been, like when it comes to like everything like that. So I'll have a full review of the Switch 2 out on my main channel with my criticisms, the pros and cons and what have you. But the big thing that everyone was really upset about was Mario Kart being $80 and Nintendo basically going out and saying that they're going to value the game based off of what they think the quality of the game is, so the prices are going to be like adjusted. So like the new DK game for the Switch 2 is going to be like $70, and then Mario Kart is $80, and then who knows what will come next for these new games for the Switch 2. But that got everyone concerned because everyone's like, oh great, now all the other video game companies and publishers and developers are going to follow in suit because they see that Nintendo's raising the price, so now they need to raise the price to stay in competition and to compete with Nintendo. So you already have some companies talking about their prices being released and increased, and you have some companies that are right now, they're standing their ground and saying they're not fluctuating the prices, but we'll see how that goes as we move into the next year and they see all the sales that the Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo are doing. Why am I yapping about all this? Well, because I think $80 for Mario Kart World is too much money. But then why am I okay with Sonic Racing CrossWorlds being $90? Well, it's because Sonic Racing CrossWorlds is not $90. It's $90 if you get the digital deluxe version. And the digital deluxe version actually comes with a lot of content. And I know, it's still a lot of money, and I get that. And I do wish it would be less than $90. I think $80 would have been perfect for this, and then the base game could be like $60, $70 at maximum. But the digital deluxe edition includes the base game. Well, obviously, they have to mention that because some of these other companies will give you a digital deluxe version and not give you a copy of the game with it. You have to buy the game separately. So at least that's good. You can play 3 days earlier. So a lot of these, pre-orders now are like, hey, FOMO, like, if you get your money in now, you'll be able to play early. You can get the season pass. This is the big thing. You get 6 content packs, which include all of the guest DLC, vehicles, tracks, emotes, and more. So that's where, it's all bundled together. It's to say, Smash Ultimate, when it came out, it was $50. And then for an extra, $5, $10, you could get the Fighter Pass, which would allow you to get all the DLC unlockable, not unlockable, you just got them. The 5 DLC characters for the first pack, and then I believe it was 6 DLC characters for the second pack for an additional $5. So in total, the game was $60, but then you ended up spending like $70 or $80 for the DLC. This is just that, but it's all put together. It's as if you would have bought Smash Ultimate at $90, but you got all of those DLC characters when they rolled out already. So they're just cutting out that middle section where you had to go and buy a pass for each DLC unlock. You're probably still going to be able to purchase DLC characters at your whim as like individuals. So if you just want Joker, you could do that, or just want whoever that is released that you like. But this just kind of gets rid of that, and you just have everything right there for you. So that's where the value is. And in addition, you get the Sonic Prime character pack with Rusty Rose, Tails 9, Knuckles the Dread, which will all be available on launch, by the way, and then additional content as well. So it's a pretty big bundle, and of course you don't really know what the game is going to be like, if it's actually going to be good or fun. That's kind of the risk with all these sort of things, but that is a lot of good stuff for the digital deluxe edition, in my opinion. Once again, I still think it is a lot of money in today's time, especially when everything else is costing so much money and you got bills to pay. But everyone being upset about $90, they're kind of, going a little bit overboard with it. I'm very much pro-consumer, and I'm very much a Sonic fan, and I do think Sega and Sonic Team have been doing a good job. I know Sega has had some problems with, I believe it was like a Dragon or a different similar Yakuza kind of game. I can't quite remember, where you had to pay extra money to get extra modes and get the full game. That's really shady. I hope they don't do that with this. I think they're too smart to realize that Sonic fans are crazy, and the Sonic fan base is really big and gives them a lot of their money, so they don't want to piss them off. So that's what I'm hoping, that they're not going to screw people over that way. But that's just my argument for this $90 price tag. Yes, I wish it was lower. I wish everything in life was lower, but nothing in life is free. For everything that you get for the digital deluxe, I don't think it's that heinous, because once again, you get those DLC characters as they release, and you don't have to buy them as they come out, which I think is a really good value. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you think video game prices are getting too crazy? Will you be willing to pay the $90 price tag to get all these bundled features for the digital deluxe version of Sonic CrossWorlds? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. They also have a collector's edition. I've never been a collector's edition guy, because those go up into the hundreds, and people just stop even thinking about the price tag. They just want all the merch and all the items, and some of the stuff is cool, but I really don't think the value is there personally for me, so that's where I draw the line. But I'm curious to what you think on that as well. I'm OCDsaster, and I hope you have a super Sonic rest of your day. See ya!